And a pleasant good evening. Welcome, one and all, to this edition of the Glentendo Circuit, presented, of course, by Master Hand Gaming, alongside the one and only, not a disembodied voice this time, Chris Elodian.
I'm fully embodied today, man. I'm ready to go. Actually, it's been a minute, so...
Yeah, that's true. I mean, congratulations on getting your corporal form back. We're all really happy for you. And yes, I am Stu, the announcer, and welcome once again. This is your Sunday night entertainment here. We have already jumped right in with the Glentendo Circuit. We're not used to seeing Waluigi on the Wiggler bike here, but I believe that this is
Fate. This is his first stream ever. He's never streamed one of these. I think he just got set up, so this is good because he wins like every week. So if you're looking for good gameplay, you're gonna get it.
Yeah, and starting off with a bit of an unfortunate turn there, getting shot with that long gap and the red shell coming up right before it. That's you fall into the drink and it hurts you just a little bit, although not too much. You get picked up and dropped off right where you wanted to be anyhow. It's always nice to carry a little bit of momentum going in off of those jumps.
Yeah, it's the beauty of this game, man. And as we do have Fate, we also do have Jetline. Can't forget about Jetline. Using our very favorite Switch Lite system that I always forget the name of, but thankfully Stu reminded me right before. I'll out myself on that one. I don't know why the system's naming is so not memorable, but you know, Nintendo that's Nintendo.
Well, that's just kind of the thing, is that there have been so many named Light that it kind of makes you wonder if they're starting to bleed together. So, but not really. The thing is, it's a great system and it works out just fine. And Fate is going to be picking up third place points there. And looks like there was another competitor who had a few races under their belt already. Astro picking up first in that particular contest, Jetline taking ninth. And Chris, relatively small stream here today, but again, we get to track one of the better competitors that we've had in the competition, really on a regular basis thus far, that being Fate.
Yeah, he is. I mean, when I tell you he wins like every week, I'm not exaggerating. And you could even verify this yourself if you're bored or if you're already in that Glentendo Discord. Check out the top 8 placings. You're going to see him for the past several months. First place, maybe second place here and there, but for the most part, first place. I think he had won like 5 tournaments in a row at one time, and then took like a week off, and then won some more. Dude's crazy good. Yeah, crazy good. And then like Jetline's pretty good too. I know we don't always get the full impact of his gameplay, but he's usually in the discussion, and he goes by multiple names. I think he's Adam in game. He's Jetline via stream. He used to be Jet, I think, like just Jet. So I don't know. Either way, he's here. He's out here. And also,
so that's why Jet changed his name. Got it.
Dude, I feel like the amount of people that have used the tag Jet and they all changed the name from Jet, now no one is named Jet.
True. So, you know, it's the more things change, the more they stay the same. Isn't that always the case? But that's Fate going to be jumping out ahead. And interesting choice, not using the Wiggler bike that we have come to know and really has come to be sort of the meta here in the Glentendo Circuit. Going with a more miniature scooter instead.
Yeah, and I know the scooters in general, I guess, seem favorable. I don't know if it's like a thing with Waluigi's mechanics, but either way, yeah, I don't think I ever see Waluigi on a cart, like, ever, and you always see Waluigi's in pretty much every event, especially these now, because they've become a little try-hard in nature.
Just a little bit. I mean, Waluigi is kind of try-hard in nature. We heard all about that Nintendo headcanon that they've developed, but... You know, that's just, it's good to always try your best. Why not? I'm not going to fault Waluigi for that, as we're going to see Fate jumping out ahead into first place, not before the lightning strikes. And that's, I think they're maintaining a halfway decent lead. I don't foresee them losing it unless that Roy has something to say about it. It's been doing pretty well on these shortcuts, and as we go up to the final lap, Fate's in as decent a position as you can imagine right now.
Dude, these last laps are always, like, stressful, though, because you know you're due for at least one lightning, or if not a lightning, a blue shell, like... Oh, okay, there we go, yeah. Just bear with Fate's connection a little bit. This is the first stream, so he's figuring it out. But either way, yeah, these last laps are tricky because... And I know there's, like, a whole science to this where you could basically count on a blue shell, almost guaranteed, or a lightning or whatever, almost to a point where you count. or like know when it's coming. I don't know what that
Oh.
kind of science is in this game, but it does exist, I'm told. And I've seen too, because a lot of times you'll see people anticipate it, and yeah, I don't know exactly what happened, but he did dip in the second, so it looks like that really did end up catching him in the end. But
I think he got hit by a red shell earlier on. He did avoid the red shell, get off of the jump on the chasm there, but then right before he hit the line, the Roy came up and got him good with one of the projectiles. So
yeah, so
unfortunate end there for Fate.
Yeah, you do kind of hate it. I mean, but that's so the nature of this game, man. Like where you're in the lead the whole race, and then all of a sudden you're not. I mean, to be honest with you, though, watching Fate play is generally in the lead a lot and doesn't lose it. But sometimes you can't help it. Like I was saying, there's there's blue shells, there's lightning, and you know, if you're in the lead, the game is literally designed to make you not in the lead. There's a lot of items for that. So you know, you're never in the favorable position unless you really are out there.
No, it's the game that actively conspires against you if you are in first place, where it's like, wow, this person seems like they're really good at driving. Let's ruin their day. So that's just how Mario Kart is. It's how it's always been, and now you're seeing the meta sort of develop around defensive tactics, where the items that are so heavily valued are the ones that can take care of those blue shells and those red shells and really all the things that can ruin your day, especially on those jumps that Fate did account for, but simply ran out of resources right before the finish line. So we'll have to settle for a second place finish. Not too terrible, all things considered, because the Glentendo circuit ain't a sprint, it's a marathon, Chris.
Yeah, that's true. A little less of a marathon than it used to be. I remember, like, I don't know if you remember these two. I think this was before you started commentating for sure. When these used to be 2 hour long and 24 races, that was the actual, like, real marathon. Honestly, I think 12 races it's still a fair amount of races. Like, an hour of Mario Kart is, for the average person, it's kind of that's like a lot of Mario Kart.
It's a process. Yeah, definitely. It is a lot, but it's also just enough to kind of gauge how good you are at this game. You want to talk about a 24 race circuit, that's like championship level you're talking about there. So definitely something to be said about those that can go the full 24, the 24 races of Le Mans, as it were. And as Jetline is going to get a star and 3 mushrooms. How blessed a life you must live, Jetline. And still sitting in 7th. And those power-ups are going to help, but again, only so much that you can do at this point. You're sitting in 3rd place, and Fate, do pardon the frame rate, but I gotta say, for a PowerPoint, not doing too badly for themselves.
Yeah, well said. And this is, I guess, I
feel like I'm clowning on him. I feel bad now.
I do a little bit too. It's tricky though. Like I know, like when you're first setting up a stream, like you know this, you stream. Like sometimes there's just things you gotta work out. Like this is his first stream, as far as I'm aware. So, or one of his first. So even just finding those settings that work for you, because chances are it's just like a bitrate thing. Finding out what your internet allows. But yeah, he does take the first place with Carrie in second, Pat in third. 2 names I'm unfamiliar with, and one of the boys, I believe that was GS Core, coming in 4th, and that's 8VA. That is Fate's crew, I believe, and I actually don't know what it stands for. I'm sorry, but that might be HSB though. GS Core. That could be a different person. Could be. I feel like the me looks the same, but I feel like, I don't know, it kind of looks like Fate's me too, so maybe this will have matching me's. I have no idea.
Your guess is as good as
really
mine, I assure you. But yeah, that's one of those things, especially when you're just working out. When you're working out. Sorry, that was audio right in my ear. But when you're working out the technical issues behind a stream, it's always you always got to make sure that you're not just throwing out some like the highest number possible, because then you're wondering like, oh yeah, max bit rate, max frame rate, and all that sort of stuff, and then you're wondering why it looks like you're streaming off of a smart fridge.
Yeah, that's real, everybody. Smart fridges are real. Smart ovens are real.
You can play Doom on them. Ask me how I know. So the we're going to Yoshi Valley for Fates' stream, and I believe Jetline is there as well. gonna jump out right into first. But again, maintaining the lead is so hard. Has the tools with which to do it, does Fate. But yeah, at this point, has really been kind of carried by his ability, by their ability, excuse me, to just sort of have solid driving all around. Though it does take a trip onto the grass there.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, this particular map always confuses me personally because there are a few ways to get around it. As you can see right there on Fate's screen, there's all of those arrows pointing left and right. I don't know what the optimal path is. I'm going to defer that Fate probably knows it, but so many times I'll see, where Fate hung a left, you'll see people hang a right, and then they kind of meet coming up soon. But regardless, he's got himself a nice lead. This blue shell isn't really going to do anything. Carrie is going to be closing the gap a little bit. That is the me with the red hair from the UK, I believe. So as I say that, she is getting a little closer, but with that lightning and that blue shell coming out early, I don't know what the likelihood of seeing both of those are going to be on the next lap. But I mean, I'm sure we'll see at least one of them. I know lightnings in this game are kind of often. They happen a lot. Blue shells, not as much, but they definitely happen.
Yeah, I mean, they happen. That is the exact that's the exact verb that I would use too, if I'm being completely honest. As we go to the final lap here at Yoshi Valley, again, defensive measures being employed by Fates, who's been taking this from pillar to post. That me is not far behind. That is their mouth just open the whole time? That's terrifying. Yeah,
that's some me's just built like that, you know. Built different. This me's built with the. Wow, you got a bomb in first place. Is that a thing that happens?
Oh, this is the second time he's done that this race.
Dude, that's crazy. Yeah, I missed that entirely the first time. I saw it there, but it does look like.
And he dropped the bomb at the exact point too, at the bridge. He's gonna have to eat this blue shell. That's unfortunate.
Was that Carrie passing again, and Cora, who I'm sorry, not Cora, Kane. Excuse me. So Kane and Carrie both gonna pass for first and second. Fate, just bad position. Bad position being. He was right at the finish line, and that's when things hit.
Does the bomb nullify the blue shell?
I want to say I've seen it happen, but I can't confidently say that. So I apologize in advance if that is like the incorrect answer. But I feel like it can because I've seen.
If you don't know, then I don't know is the correct answer.
Yeah,
like,
no, you're right.
We're not politicians. We're not going to pretend like we know everything. Like, you know, it's just what it is, you know, you don't know and you're allowed to say that.
I just feel like a hitbox from the bomb would cover where that shell drops. But I did see Fate drop it way earlier than the blue shell, so I'm thinking that if it can, he would have known that and probably did it, unless he just mistimed it. That's also possible. But I'm not going to save him that time. The only remedy that I know of, aside from falling off the ledge to not get destroyed by blue shell, is
the boombox.
Yeah, that's it. That's like the only thing I know. You can't outrun it. You can't juke it out.
No, you just kind of have to hope beyond hope that you have yourself a custom-made Lucio sound barrier that blows up a blue shell, and that is what it is sometimes. But yeah, blue shell OP, please nerf. But we're continuing with Glentendo Circuit. Fate. Honestly, this is the sort of performance that we've come to expect from Fate, though, is that it's never been like fully, you know, first place after first place after first place. You're keeping yourself in it with second place finishes, good, consistent driving, and really, it's not always about getting the first place points. It's about like getting second place a bunch of times, and that allows you to take the whole thing in the end, generally speaking. It's all a matter of consistency, especially as we come up to race number 6 for Fate. To Hyrule we go.
Yeah, consistency is the name of the game. Speaking of consistent, this isn't like one of those tracks we just saw with the Yoshi track we just saw. This one is a lot more straightforward. I think Hyrule Circuit is a pretty popular pick, and this was one of the DLC packs one of the DLC tracks in the last game that sort of just came over with the entire deluxe version of this game. And yeah, we actually see this quite a bit. I feel like last week we saw it a few times, but we'll see if Fate could kind of figure this out with this race. He is in 10th place, which actually I think might even work in your favor. I do see him in the lead early and often, more often than not, but I know a lot of racers will take the back of the pack as a bit of a strategic push to get some kind of items to then use them like the bullet bills at opportune places or whatever. But I don't think Fate's really going to need that because he's kind of just doing it himself with the 2 Waluigis right in front of him and a red shell in hand, so not in a bad place.
And now, seeing as we're drifting through, I want you to answer something for me because I could never quite get the hang of bikes. I got so used to the mechanics of karts, just because all I knew growing up was playing karts, through Super Circuit, through Mario Kart DS, DS Online in its earliest days. That was an experience.
You needed that USB thing.
You did? But unless you were on Wi-Fi, and I have so many stories of just like hanging out outside of the McDonald's on outside of Oni Transportation Center, trying to gank the Wi-Fi while also being like the only white dude in sight. And it's just
playing on your Nintendo DS.
And I'm playing on my Nintendo DS, but that's how I made so many friends just hanging out by Oni TC just because we were like chilling and playing Mario Kart. As Fate is going to take home first place points, I guess I can tell the story. We'll actually have to analyze the race. No one wants to hear my stories anyway.
I kind of want to hear it.
All right, so I guess this is a decent enough time to hear it, to tell it. But yeah, I was hanging out outside. So where I was, it was the route that took me back to my neighborhood in Northwest Philadelphia was right near the McDonald's, which has since closed down. God rest its soul. But yeah, but remember they used to do the whole thing where it's like, yeah, if you have a DS, you can play on Wi-Fi here. And everyone was just hyped because Nintendo didn't really do like internet things up to that point.
Yeah, that was the first console, really, I think. Like, it came out a little around the Wii's time, and that sort of tried to do internet. Oh, wait, no. The GameCube had that Ethernet adapter, but it was only for Phantasy Star.
One game. It was only for Phantasy Star Online, and you could also do LAN stuff. Like, you could do 16-person races in Kirby Air Ride or 1080 Avalanche and games like that. But, yeah, for internet, it was only PSO. But, so when you're talking about console things, like console-wide Wi-Fi, the first one was the DS. And so Mario Kart DS, I think, was the first one. And that thing just got hacked to absolute hell. Like, you're talking about, like, people on characters that didn't actually exist, like character models that just so happened to be in the game. And,
really? On
like,
the online?
Really
Did I not play long enough? I may have not.
Like, you would wind up, like, picking a track, and they would wind up picking Daisy. Like, that's, as a track. And now you're like, okay, yeah, these people are hacking. I just remember that so distinctly. It's like, I'm trying to pick, Waluigi Pinball, and they're like, Daisy. Like, okay, cool. So I'm playing a hacker. And it's 1v1, so they're literally just existing to ruin my day now. But, But yeah, no, I actually met a really, really cool friend of mine. And Jamar, if you're watching, man, I really appreciate you, and I hope life is treating you well over in South Carolina. So let's go, Jamar. Shout outs to you, brother. It's Central High's finest right there. But we're going to catch Fate in the back of the pack right now. Unfamiliar territory for them, but obviously this means that you get some of the better power-ups, and maybe thinking that front running on Sunshine Airport isn't the best strategy, so you might as well stock up on some decent items.
Yeah, and I think we'll be fine. This is one of those, I feel like this is one of those maps where things could change really fast, and it is pretty direct of a map, so you're already seeing it going from 11th now to 8th and climbing. Got the star on, and yeah, this is kind of the place where you want that to happen. I really still stand firm on it's not the best to be in the lead going into the third lap because of all the things we've talked about. But yeah, here we go, making the run, and HSB, I do believe that is a good friend of Fate's who we also see a lot, but we'll see if he's able to overtake. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, or if you've noticed too, but Fate did lower the bitrate a little bit, so while it's a little bit blocky, it is much more smooth. So shouts to that, looking way better.
There you go. So you talk about mid-circuit adjustments. That's the sort of thing that you like to see. And by you, I mean literally you, because the stream is watchable now. So we're going to get this little shot up to the ramp, going airborne at the airport, admittedly. But, maybe mistook that for a mushroom, because Fate ran right into
Yeah,
that thing.
he did. He a little uncharacteristically. He may have thought it was a mushroom. That's definitely like an instinct thing at this point in the race, where you're in a huge group of people, and you're at the finish line. Oh my goodness, that was like the hardest fought fifth place I may have ever seen.
Yeah, and well done for 8fa.
Yeah, and
for getting it. But yeah, we saw Jetline taking third, and of course up front in 1 and 2, a few other contenders for the crown of the Glentendo circuit here this week. But all in all, a halfway decent field. They're not really splitting up quite as quickly. Usually we see it be a little disjointed with all the competitors that we have, but a neat little 12 racer pack here, and it's looks like it's turning into a dogfight pretty quickly.
Yeah, this is one of those, like, when you're stuck in that same group of people, which is kind of good, honestly, when these lobbies fill up like that, because a lot of times they just don't. Like this next race, I think we're going to be 3 shy, but when they fill up, it's good. And a lot of times, though, you will see a lot of guys playing the same people, and you know, I think at that point, that's when the Mario Kart RNG seems a little bit less wild, because everyone's sort of experiencing it all the same. But as you mentioned, this is somewhat of a marathon, not a race. Still collecting points. That fifth place finish is going to hurt a little bit, but I don't really think. Yeah, that was. It's funny because I've been troubleshooting Fate's stream a little bit, like with him in between races, and the last race he literally just goes, "I'm throwing on stream," and I was like, "Oh no." We'll see though. I mean, I get it though. Sometimes just having the distraction of the stream makes such a difference, even if like it doesn't really affect you. You're sitting there adjusting bit rates, and then like your race is about to start, and you're just like, ah. But meanwhile,
yeah, no, I get it. I get it completely, and it's. The thing is that I'm glad that I stream pretty much all the video game playing that I do now, because then I can say that I'm throwing on stream, when in reality I'm just bad at video games. So that's it provides for a great cover, and people just kind of get it. So
everybody gets that one, dude. Everybody.
Thank you for substantiating my my absolute gaming inferiority, Fates. It is definitely appreciated. And now the boomerang going to be utilized by Jetline, who we're seeing here on the Diet Switch in 5th place. But Fate running at 3rd at the moment. And yeah, the lightning, again, it affects all of us, and you're seeing it. You're seeing that Fate is just a little bit behind. Again, it's just the nature of streaming. Please understand that. But still, not a bad performance overall as they try to play catch up with Carry.
Yeah, not too bad, and I think this is a lot more manageable than where it was last race, where I think this 3rd, 4th kind of range he's hanging in was more of like a 7th, 8th. So this is very manageable. You could see everyone who's ahead of him like right in front. No one really has that huge lead. In fact, that lead is very much closing. And as I said, I guess Carrie is a little bit further out there than I realized. I'm unfamiliar with who Carrie is. Another racer from the UK, which we get a few of those. And shout outs to those guys, because let's say 5 hours over there. So what's it? 12:30 in the UK right now.
And that's the thing. Fate had that all planned out, didn't they? Where they were going to make sure that they were in a decent enough position to hit all the turbo pads that they wanted, but simply were not able to do it because of the hits from the weapons. And that's how a shell can become a wrench in the plans of really some of the best players at this game. We're going to see Fates take 3rd and a 7th place finish for Adam, as Carrie and Cav take 1st and 2nd respectively. Cav having themselves a circuit thus far through 7 races, 92 points.
I think probably the leader, and I saw GS Core, Fate's teammate, also up in the leader rankings. I believe it was those two, maybe Cav and then GS Core and then Fate, as far as the scores go. Although I think you mentioned those guys were a race ahead, possibly. But I don't know. Either way, this is a bit of a dogfight, as you already mentioned. So I actually, despite the frame rates, despite the only 2 streamers, still a pretty good day as far as competitive goes. No one's really running away. No one's really dying off too hard. I got lots of good racers. This lobby has slimmed down a little bit, but still all the players you'd want to see, including Fate, Adam. I didn't see GS Core, but I think I saw possibly Cav.
Still going to Mario Kart Stadium for this one. And yeah, the first track that you see in the game, but still requires quite a bit of skill in of itself, and definitely tests your fundamentals to the furthermost degree, especially when you're talking about going up against world-class talent. Just because it's a quote-unquote starter course doesn't mean that any old schmuck can race on it.
Yeah, no way. And sometimes these easy races, like the Mario Kart stadiums, end up being the toughest ones you'll have, because it is straightforward. There isn't like a great way to catch up real quickly, so you start getting hit by all the items right on cue. Things could go bad pretty quickly. And likewise, if you're having a good race and you're out there in first place, things could also stay in good position for you all the same. But we are still going to be stuck in the middle of the pack as far as our streamers go. You got Fate and Adam in 3rd and 4th respectively, and plenty of room to work with here. I mean, this is only the start of lap 2.
Yeah, and Fates is at the moment carrying themselves probably through that sweeping turn. We are seeing them just a little bit further behind, even Jetline right now, who has a little bit more latency on their stream, so we do apologize for that, but gets himself in a decent position to kind of power through that big sweeping turn that goes up into the sky as we come up towards the final lap here. And Jetline is going to be there, but at 5th. And yeah, again, unfortunate stuff on the items. This is a course that, again, tests everything that and a nice little cut through with the aid of the mushroom there by Fate. It's a weird thing because you're trying to play defensively and maintain your position, but also you see those other two racers right there. You know how close you are to a decent medal finish. And indeed, this is where Fate's going to make their move. Going to try to get first. I'm not sure if they're going to have the resources which to do it. And, probably got tagged by the shell. And it's going to get 4th, in fact. Maybe overextending a little too hard, trying to commit too many resources to getting a first-place finish. Cav is going to be the first one to crack the 100-point barrier. But Fate, again, a nice race, but cut down perhaps by getting a little too greedy with their placement.
Tough time closing it out for Fate today, and I know sometimes this is just the plague of Mario Kart. I've had this conversation with them more times than I can count on this stream, where just sometimes the game's for you, sometimes it's against you, and it really does just seem like there's just days like that. You know what I mean? Like some days luck's on your side, some days it's not at all. That's Mario Kart.
I mean, absolutely. It's like you're sitting down at the blackjack table. You don't know how those cards are going to fall. Sometimes it's just not going to fall your way. But either way, that's the nature of Mario Kart. As you mentioned, it's not going to be the easiest thing. And yeah, sometimes it is a game that can it has at least confirmed ruin one friendship close to me, so I will say that. But luckily, when you're playing online and you're playing in the circuit, you're here for work, not business. Although it is fun. It
is fun. Yeah, that's funny.
Have to put that in. It's like, look, we're having fun here, okay? But
yeah, we got. Just in case you guys are curious what's going on, it looks like that the lobby's probably going to merge with this one because both Jetline.
Just in case we're curious.
Yeah, just if you guys want to know what's going on.
Was that intentional?
No, actually, no. That's amazing. That was not at all intentional. But hey, here's curious. And I still don't know what this crew is. The bubble crew is what I call them because it looks like little tiny bubbles. But this is the same crew that Lily's a part of and the whole gang that we had last week, which was pretty nice. There's GS Core. I think GS Core is his own person because I did see HSB before. I made the mistake earlier of saying I thought they may have been the same, but I literally think all those guys' Mii's just look exactly the same. And I don't know who's to blame for that, or if it's on purpose, or if they all just kind of have the same choice in Mii options. Maybe. There isn't a whole lot of creativity in Mii's outside of like the outright shitpost ones.
There has to be a point where we can gather up everyone to get their Mii to look exactly like Nintoonist. Like, we have to do that.
I think that's
right?
I think so. There's already one. It's not hard.
There's already one, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like,
they'll all
we just need to get everyone to do it.
They're all going to be Nintoonist, except for Carrie's could stay exactly the same.
Carrie can be Nintoonist, but they keep the mouth.
There you go. That sounds better. That's a much better idea. So yeah, these guys are finishing.
It's the one variant that's allowed.
Yeah, the only difference.
The one.
Everything else, carbon copy. I'm sorry. These are the rules.
It's like, I'm not saying that you have to do it, but you have to do it.
Yeah, but you really should. And if you're not, there's probably something wrong with you. But here we go. Exactly. Here's another big.
Oh my god! Like, I'm looking at it. Hang on, I have to full screen this because we're doing this on an
Hold
app
on. Yeah, that isn't a mouth. What is that? It's like
what?
Or is it? It looks like
Is that a beak?
Dude, I can't tell because it looks like almost like a smiley face in the center of whatever that. Oh, it's a mustache over a big me mouth? Question mark. I think it has to be. There's so many weird things you could do with that mustache, and I'm pretty positive that's what's going on. I think it's a mustache over just a mouth that's already like open, so it just looks like
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I know how much you can mess up a Mii's face to create something that looks very inappropriate. I'm pretty sure you have me on your friends list, right?
I might not, and if I don't, I gotta add you. I don't have a full friend list, so.
Oh, well, I mean, look, if I can't crack the Mr. Popular list, then so be it. But at the same time,
I don't even think it's that. But yeah, here we go. Neo Bowser City, and yep, there's Jetline. Also Neo Bowser City, and this day going kind of quick, man. 9th race already, so we're at about that point where we're heading towards the tail end. Still got a few races left. Neo Bowser City.
I'm not showing the stream, but I'm showing you.
Hold on, let me look. That's hilarious. You can show them later.
Yeah.
That looks terrible.
It's the easy. It's everything. It's the pose. It's
Yeah, that like weird arrogant pose, but just you guys we'll show you in a bit, but all you have to do is just think Squidward. And that's a very stock
Close
option.
enough, yeah.
Dude, they gave us these tools to use for the Miis, so that's on Nintendo.
Exactly. You know, that's I like how we just I like how we're just blaming Nintendo.
Dude, it is
artistic freedom.
They're just
like
they're
that'll show them.
Yeah, I mean, hey, who else are we supposed to blame, huh?
Yeah, I suppose so. But,
inappropriate Miis, I demand an accountable party.
I mean, I've created so many Miis on like my friends' other systems before I got a Switch, so I could just create as many as I so choose. Like it's amazing.
Yeah, and there's
I think I put Black Hulk Hogan on like 50 of my friends' 3DS.
Black
Hulk
Hogan.
Amazing. Black Hulk Hogan, absolutely.
Dude.
But
yeah.
So anyway, Neo Bowser City. Again, one of those maps. I can only imagine playing this on 200cc. That sounds like a waking nightmare.
It's very turny and twisty. And speaking of which, despite all that, despite all of our Mii conversation, Fate in a pretty good spot. Despite this blue shell coming in fast, Carrie right on the tail. Gonna want to keep that distance because I think if Carrie gets another win, she might just take the whole circuit. And there we go. Gonna keep it. That was a little bit of a close call. I bet you Fate was probably a little bit clenched there, but does clutch out that first place. Carrie dropped in the center. No, I think she got third actually. I'm peeping over at Jetlines. Yeah, gets third. GS Core comes in second instead. HSB in fourth. Cav fifth. So that is going to be a shake up to the points. Finally gonna put Fate at above that century mark. Now 3 racers that we can see above that century mark. So there you go. Things getting competitive. Still got 3 more races.
Exactly. And when you're talking about Fate, who finally getting those first place points, this is where you decide to turn on the jets a little bit. And it's not even the fact that you were racing poorly, because we've seen Fate. They were not doing a bad job at all. And when you're talking about a course that is as technically demanding as Neo Bowser City, which, let's be real, kind of requires perfection.
It does. That course, it'll test you. You already mentioned 200cc. It's so stressful to think about. There are a lot of tight turns. There are a lot of just areas where you can fall off. And yeah, it's stressful. It really is, man.
Yeah.
It's very much one of those races that you'll find that will make you feel kind of bad at times. Not like DK Jungle, though. I feel like DK Jungle is pretty... It's mild-ish.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
Moments.
It is a course that requires your full attention, but at the same time, you're able to partake in a little bit of tomfoolery and shenaniganry. So I'm not going to say that it's you really do have to know the mechanics of the game to get this one down fully, especially on those little jumps, those tricky little things that you might not think that you can get a boost off of, but you definitely can, as Fate is proving there. It gets tagged with a shell, however, and is going to be in 8th place at the moment, passing Glentendo right there. But as they are sweeping through these turns, it really is kind of weird to think about how Glentendo, being the start of all this, and really, what was it? It just started on a bet or something?
I don't even know, dude. I feel like I feel like Nintunis adds that part, but honestly, dude, I really think Glenn is just a little.
Would you be shocked though?
I wouldn't be shocked at all. No, I wouldn't. And I don't even want to question the validity of the story. All I could tell you is just I remember Glenn messaging me on Twitter one day. This was like right as quarantine was starting, like just maybe like a week before, just saying, hey, I want to try and host a Mario Kart. And then that's pretty much the extent I knew. And I was like, okay, cool. and then here we are months later. I actually think this is the 30th one, so it's kind of a lot now. That's over 7 months worth of these. So I mean, that's kind of cool, man. Closing out on that year, I actually wouldn't have thought, especially this game is so old. Like Mario Kart 8 is an old game, where I just would have never really thought I'd be streaming it on a weekly basis. But here we are, and I'm glad that this game does have a fan base. I wonder what's gonna happen when there is a new Mario Kart, when, if the heck that even happens.
I mean, this game is enjoying quite the fruitful life cycle at the moment, so I think we're kind of good on Mario Karts for now, especially since this game was one of the best sellers in the early early part of the Switch's life cycle. Like, it was the best seller until I think until Ultimate came out.
Yeah, and probably like Animal Crossing or something. This is one of those games where if you're a parent, you like frame one auto buy your kid this game if you buy them a Switch. It just makes sense. But here we go, Fate.
Yeah.
Getting that surge of life, man, right towards the end. Went from throwing to now 2 first places in a row. Very much in the discussion. Let's see how the points shake out. Does put him in the lead because that's GS Cord taking a little bit of a dump there at 9th place. So he is going to have a 1-point deficit to Fate.
But Cav sitting 2 points or 3 points ahead. I didn't really see that correctly. But did we mention... was it Cav that was 1 race ahead or something like that?
Maybe. I'm not sure. I did see that, though. I did see what you meant, like, when we first started, that there was already points there. So it's very possible.
Yeah, someone had, like, 27 or something.
So this is Fate's 11th race. So if Cav is still in here and isn't here the next race, then we have our answer. But either way, it does look like Fate's bringing it back regardless. Whether it be a race ahead, not a race ahead. I mean, he's right on track with the points, as you can see. Where is he? Yeah, 119 to Cav's 122. And I'm unfamiliar with Cav. I don't know if we've seen Cav before here. But either way, definitely making the presence known, because I have a feeling that's probably a top 3 finish we're looking at for Cav, at least based off of what I'm seeing right now. Hard to really know these things in advance, but as we go to the snowy terrains, we'll see what Fate can do to continue keeping this momentum going, and we'll see if Jetline's able to get anything. And yeah, there is Glentendo. I don't think I've seen Glentendo really racing these in a while. And dude, we mentioned this earlier. First appearance of Waluigi on a kart, because that's what Glenn's using.
Yeah, interestingly enough, and I really never got the hang of bikes in these games, but obviously they are a favorite of the meta, and certainly of all of these top players. Bikes really seem to be the thing that lets you succeed in these games, lets you power through some of these turns where you would otherwise normally lose ground. I mean, what is it that makes the bike such the preferred method to travel here?
I think the bike mostly just has really good acceleration and a lot of good mobility, but I think the acceleration is why the Waluigis probably use it.
Just 4 Waluigis.
Dude, they're as we're talking about them, they're like, wait, yeah, like
good lord.
You say Waluigi, 5 of them arrive. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, the thing about it is, I think because like he's that cruiserweight that's a little bit on the heavier end, but so if you have a bike that has high acceleration, it gives you that extra buffer where you're not just done for if your momentum stops or you get hit by something. The bike allows you to basically catch up quickly, but in Glenn's case, he does rock the cart still, so it's not a total lost art. I do think, though, that I think that the meta is probably just like, yeah, dude, get your heavy racer, your light vehicle, and go. Because that is what you see most often, and that's what we've been seeing do so well. And also, there was lore in the chat that we totally missed, Stu. That's apparently a beak that is on carry. It is, I think it was Professor Shy Guy. I opened up pop-up chat, and it ruins the existing chat. But yeah, their girlfriend who rocks a beak. So that's the answer to the question.
It's pronounced beak. So that's
Thanks.
Good to know.
Shit,
it did look
dude.
like a beak. Yeah.
That's not a good finish for Fate. That is actually going to hurt quite a bit. So that's
Wow.
124 to Cav at 137. Everyone else still a little bit below there, so maybe not the biggest disaster, but I mean, if you're Cav, that's probably something of a relief because that gets you a good buffer there. That's, I think, 137. What I say, Fate 124. So yeah, that's like a whole. My man's got to get at least second place to tie it up.
You have some breathing room at the very least, but also at the same time, if you're Fate, who's been doing so well throughout all of these circuits, your destiny is no longer within your hands. You are relying on a poor result and really just the same sort of bad fortune that you ran into. One of those rare races where, yeah, you obviously ran into some missteps, but also Fate just not really taking too kindly to Sherwoodland that time.
No, it didn't work out. Already messaging that he lost, and this was not Cav's race. Yeah, I think Cav pretty much has his locked up if they could basically probably not dip more than
apart.
like third or fourth. Like I think that's the point when it become bad. But either way, here we go. Last race still counts. I think this is probably going to be the difference between second and anything else for Fate because there were a few tight scores there. I actually was not paying attention if GS Cav was in here or not, but if he is, then it's especially going to be a little bit tricky. But yeah, as I'm seeing more stats come out from the chat, shout outs to everyone in chat, Knight, Lou, Shy Guy, yeah, so could be the potentially first female winner of Glentendo Circuit. So quite the historic day.
No, that's actually interesting. So when we're talking about how the implications of this race,
God.
certainly that's one of the things that we need to take into consideration. And yeah, right now Fate just kind of going through it, and Jetline, we have kind of been putting them on the back burner, though their stream, gotta say, keeping us abreast of the situation and has been pretty consistent the whole night. Maybe not in contention to win this whole thing, but also not putting in a too poor performance either. And right now, as it stands, a podium finish for on the final race for Jetline.
Yeah, I think so. I think Jetline is a pretty frequent top 8er, so he might not win them, but he's definitely in the discussion, as you mentioned. And yeah, here we are back in Neo Bowser City, by the way. This is where one of the maps where Fate won just recently, so I don't know if he's going to be able to run that back or not. He's gotten hit by literally everything you can imagine this race. We saw him earlier having some mushrooms and then mushrooming into a star, getting hit by shells, and then he just got flattened. But here we are, 4th place. All but over yet.
But they're making their run.
Yeah, gonna have to make that quick move. Does have the boombox in hand. Got 2 people in sights of it. Finish line is coming up, though. We are kind of on that last stretch. Just got this turn, another turn, and that's it. Got the mushroom in hand. Oh my goodness, there's a red shell. If it connects, this is it. Oh my god!
Oh, they actually did it! What a run up to the front!
Yo.
And you saw they had the offensive play in mind when they carried the boombox. They were looking to reach it. They were looking to reach their opposition, but then you saw them drifting away, getting a little too much acceleration off of the corner, and finding themselves to where they had to use the boombox just to clear out the banana, so they had a clear path. And then the shell comes forward. Great management of the items. And, of course, some solid driving from Fate, who comes back for the first place finish on Neo Bowser City. So, of course, that little stumble in the second to last race, but what a way to come back, Chris.
Yeah, I'm happy to see that because I know it was a little bit of a down day for Fate. So coming out, going out with the first place where you literally earned it, like definitely earned that all the way because
yeah,
it was getting hit by everything. I was doing the moaning and groaning for him early on in the race, and yeah, clutched it out, dude. Total offensive move, you called it. So with that in mind, I know there's still 10 minutes, so probably still some people racing, but I will get an update on these scores.
But that's the sort of thing that really, it's just like in any other game where you think that you have an offensive play in mind, but you're not able to take it. So the resources that you have then have to be employed defensively. But it really is just as quickly as you can shift a gear on a car, you kind of have to shift gears with your strategy. And that's the case really with Smash or Nintendo. It really is like risk assessment versus potential reward. And that's it's one of those things that comes in handy when you're talking about competitive Mario Kart as well, where even though this may not have been intended to be a competitive game, it's certainly one of those things that has developed into a beast in unto itself.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we get the results, I believe that was Shy Guy having his account played on by the girlfriend, who I don't know if is done or not. Might have another race. As I mentioned, there is still 9 minutes left here by my count. But either way, there is Cab sitting securely and firmly in that first place. I don't really think that 147 marker is really going to be threatened by anyone, especially because Fate is already out, finishing at 139. Honestly, probably has that locked up as well. Although, with another race, I don't know if GS Core is done. Even if he gets first, would not pass him. He would need 2 more races.
True.
Shy Guy, though, could potentially finish. And then, Sweet Lou, currently sitting in 5th place. Astro
Shy
6.
Guy's me looks a little bit like Chipsa.
Am
I wrong for saying that?
No. I like his hair, though. Looking sharp.
True. Yeah. Hey, where's Glentendo?
Let's see. 14th. I think he jumped in late. I think he does that sometimes.
Yeah, I think he did too.
Probably just to get some. I know, it looks like Dark did too. Possibly Pat. I appreciate people who do that, honestly, though, because at least it keeps the races a little bit more honest, and you still get, you're still getting human races. Like, you might not finish, it might look like you did bad, but like if you didn't finish the races, who cares?
Exactly.
But, so here's the day. As you mentioned earlier, a bit of a comfy day. I have a feeling that I don't want to say everybody's done because I don't really know. But if you are interested in what the end results of this are, there are lots of ways you can find out. In fact, I'm going to share a couple with you right now. You could check us out, both Master Hand Gaming and Super Glentendo on Twitter. You'll always see the results to those accounts. First hand on Glenn's Twitter, second hand on ours, as we do always post these tournament reruns to those tweets with all those top 8. So if you are interested in checking those out but don't want to search through Glenn's Twitter, there is also a Discord for the Super Glentendo circuit, and that has all the top 8s nice and organized and in a list where you could just look back. So if you are kind of interested in seeing how some of these guys do on the regular, although if you're watching this you probably already know, you could check that out. Obviously follow the stream, follow our YouTube if you like this stuff and other stuff, because this channel at the moment doing a bit of Mario Kart, as you can see we're doing right now, and a bit of Smash, and that is every single Thursday. So if you enjoyed Mario Kart and you want some more competitive Nintendo in your life, make sure you check us out every single Thursday. These brackets have been popping off. We've been chilling at about 100 entrants each week, and we've been getting a lot of talent. So if you just want to get on and just try, just play with some people, test your skills, this is a good place to do it.
Yeah, legitimately, like, back-to-back winner. Like, the person who won last week and the week before that, Lights, one of the top 10 players in the world, and before that really had winners from Ireland, American Samoa, just from all over the place, and of course a few from the United States as well. So yeah, when the world's best takes on Tri-State's best, something special happens. And even if it's not, even if it's not offline or whatever, because I know that we're all kind of craving that offline interaction, it's still Smash, it's still fun to compete, and it's free to enter. So, as long as you're not doing, as long as you're not going to be super try hard about it, it's always fun to enter and watch.
Or if you are going to be try hard about it, be okay with an L. not a big deal. There's there's
Exactly.
legitimately very good players here, and that's like the big appeal for me. Is I'm like, you could sit home or just whatever and just play Elite Smash if you want, and that's cool. And quit whatever you want, or you could just actually go in a bracket. You'll recognize a few of the names, see how you stack up against them. A lot of those people enter weekly, and that kind of helps you, especially if you get a match on stream. Like, these resources, man, like, I never think about it because I'm always one streaming, but, like, you get a match on here, that's like, you could go back and watch that. You could learn a ton, especially when you do come up against a good player, because good players will exploit every flaw you have, and they will make you feel silly about it. But when you see it happen, you kind of fix it. So I'm just throwing that out there as well for anyone who I am convincing to come out to a Smash tournament for the first time. But
yeah, I mean, hey, adaptation's a big part of the game, and also what's a big part of life? Challenging yourself and testing your limits.
Absolutely,
so
man.
That's believe me, there are plenty of players online that will test your limits, but generally speaking, in the competitive scene, they're doing it in a good way.
Yeah, man. And just one last checkup. I know we got 4 minutes, and I'll probably call it after this one because I haven't seen much change aside from Astro bumping up a couple spots and Curious bumping up a spot or two just above Sweet Lou. It just being 8th. So I'm going to say this is probably what we're looking
at. Let's go, Lou.
Yeah, that's a good finish. Lou does come out. Yeah, comes out every single week. Sometimes gets frustrated, but then sometimes finishes top 8. Doesn't matter what the bracket size is. That's a good race. Broke that 100-point mark. That's progress, in my opinion. But anyways,
absolutely.
Do want to thank everybody who watches and hangs out and all those things. I know we've been talking about this Passport event. It is still slated for the 28th. I'm very much waiting on the advertisement. I owe a lot of people free spots to that, which will be fine because it's too. So it'll be nice. It works out a lot. So it's going to be 2 people per week since like September. So we're going to have a lot of people in there for free, but it's for $250 as far as I know still. So, maybe you guys wager that win into that, into $250. That'd be pretty nice. So stay tuned on details for that. There is another Smash event that's going to be announced pretty soon, but I don't want to be the one to announce it because it's not technically my event, but I can tell you it's coming, and it's through the same sort of realm of the Passport event. But anyways, Stu, as always, man, I can't thank you enough for the casts and hanging out as well.
No, hey, it's always a pleasure to be on here. It's always a pleasure to support MHG, and obviously it's cool to hang out with people on a chill Sunday night and do chill Sunday night things, the Glentendo Circuit being among those things. So shout outs to everyone who came through to hang out. Shout outs to Chris for running the stream as well as casting it, and also to our streamers Jetline and Fate, who Fate not having too bad at finishing 3rd place and calling it an off night. That's something else.
He's a guy sucked, man, and I'm just like, bro.
Yeah. This dude's on some other stuff. I don't even know what to tell you, but we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you so much for watching. I guess I'll start streaming in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, make sure to check out Stu's Twitch.
That is going to be OBS now, actually.
Yeah, that is going to be running live right after this. So if you love Stu like I love Stu, go ahead and check him out. Drop him a follow. I'm going to do it right now. I didn't realize I wasn't doing that from this account. There you go.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, and there you go, man. So it looks like probably some Pokemon Mystery Dungeon if I had to guess, but...
yes, it is.
Yep, easy URL. Check him out. You see that @ right there under his name. Same thing for Twitch. So twitch.tv/Stu the Announcer. You won't be disappointed on that. But anyways, guys, thank you so much, and I guess we'll see you next week.
Happy gaming.